Hey everybody, my name is Russ and that is Lauren, and our Thursday music topic video is upon us again. And this is one that we kind of I don't know why, for at least a year now we're like, we need to get to that one,
Yep.
and you know a lot more about this band in general than I do. So I think one of the things is I've always been I don't know, I would love to do a video on Badfinger, but I don't know anywhere near enough about them. And I think that overall their story is sad enough to where you've been kind of like, I need to be prepared to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you know a lot about Badfinger, I, I'm literally am continuing to learn about them through Lauren, and it's crazy how connected a lot of these songs are to exactly what was going on with it. Like if there ever is a biopic about this band, like the soundtrack's gonna write itself.
Yeah.
For, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And so I had a rough day with this. I had a rough
Yeah.
I had a rough time.
In all seriousness, yeah.
Yeah, I had a rough time putting this list together. It's just a 5 songs to start with. It's not like I was even digging
Hidden gems
down
or-
into like
Yeah.
and there was nothing. I had a hard time narrowing it down to the 5.
Right. But then again, I mean, this series is not if you're new to the channel, the idea behind this is if you're me and you don't know a lot about Badfinger, and I go to Lauren and I go, I would really like to get into Badfinger. These are the first 5 songs she would tell you to listen to. But the idea behind it, this isn't any sort of authoritative,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
take all of that pressure off of yourself. Because, and I'm not trolling for comments, but the idea here is if you're like, oh no, absolutely not, I would not pick those songs.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? If you have other songs you would tell people to listen to first. But the idea here is that if you are like me and you found this video and you're like, boy, I sure wish I knew where to go from Badfinger, this is where Lauren would tell you to start.
This is where I would tell you to start. And the first one on my list is I've talked about this song on this channel before because this song has one of my top 5 favorite guitar solos in it. But it's Day After Day from the album Straight Up. And George Harrison does the guitar solo. And this, I'm going to make sure that I mention who wrote each of these Badfinger songs. Because I'm a Pete Ham person. And Pete Ham wrote this track. It is such a beautiful, sad love song. And George Harrison was producing the Straight Up album for Badfinger, but then he got called away for the concert in Bangladesh. And Todd Rundgren batted cleanup on the final mix of this album. And Leon Russell plays piano on this track. With all the
Which
talent.
is, for whatever reason, it's the most memorable. The chorus, the day after, but the piano part is the most memorable thing.
That's
for me.
And I love that. I love that. And so knowing all of this about this song, all of the people that I love that play a role in this track, I was like, I hear every single one of them doing their thing here. And if you're gonna listen to one Badfinger song, in my opinion,
This is the word.
this is the one.
Okay.
But the rest of these also.
Well, moving
do.
on from that one onto the second one. The second one is the first Badfinger song I ever heard.
Yep.
And way late too, like 2003, 2004, something like that. Someone made me a mix CD, and I don't even know where they heard the song, but they put No Matter What. And the song is just so catchy and so awesome. I'll let you speak on it. But the thing was, I was like, how did I miss this? How have I never heard this in my life?
I could do a whole video on how you missed this because of how grossly mismanaged and misled and just mistreated this
Right.
band was.
We should turn a What's So Great About video into that. You tell us more about how What's So Great About and how could Badfinger have been record deal. But
Okay, because I'm not. I want to go there, but I'm
I
not
was gonna
going
say,
there.
please-
You play,
yeah,
this
please
is the
narrow it
music,
down
right?
to no matter
So
what.
no matter what, yeah, this is this song is power pop before they had the term power pop for it,
Oh,
right?
I totally agree.
And what's cool is during the production process for the album No Dice, Pete Ham again wrote this song and came to the group with a slower acoustic version of this song. And through the course of production, it got rocked up and sped up to be the power pop that we have here right now.
Adjacent to this is, and I don't think you know this very well by name, but there's a Guns N' Roses song. The second song on Appetite for Destruction is called "It's So Easy," which you may or may not know.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very, very speedy rock song. That was originally written as an acoustic I don't know, like a Laxid Days Ago, like a George Harrison type song. And Axl Rose tells a story where when Izzy Stradlin brought that in and the rest of the band like did what they did to it, they said literally Izzy just sat there being like, what are you guys doing to my song? Like, you know. Now, the next one that's on here is one now. This is one where by the time the show Breaking Bad had ended, I'm, as you know, I don't profess to be any sort of Badfinger expert, but like I had known a lot about them finally. So when this song was featured in Breaking Bad, everybody I know was like, "Oh, have you heard this band Badfinger?" And I was like, "Yes." You know, but like I couldn't be mad at anybody because there was a time where I didn't know them either.
So the interesting thing, so yeah, Baby Blue, again, it was on the album Straight Up, which so Badfinger, just to put this into kind of perspective, they were the first non-solo, non-Beatles act signed to the Apple label. And so
signed to the tax shelter. I mean, Apple Records.
Right. And part of what happened was when Apple was crumbling. So not the kind of apple crumble that I like, but this is an apple.
I knew the joke was coming.
Thank you. So when Apple was crumbling, they had the song Baby Blue. They released it as a single in the US. It had a release date and a number to be released in the UK, but it never got released. This song, Baby Blue, didn't track in the UK until it was used in Breaking Bad. Yeah. And by that time, 75% of this band was gone.
Yeah, which is for another time. But I would argue, though, that that's one of the great things, though, is that the music
lives on beyond them. And yes, so
now for those who aren't Breaking Bad, like how would you describe this song? Because it's certainly not power pop.
It's power pop ish. I think it's in the same vein as No Matter What. It's sad. It's one of those. It's very happy sounding.
It's like whenever I describe Roger Waters songs, I'm like, okay, now this one's sad.
So Pete Ham wrote this about a girl that he met on tour that he was dating, and they had like a pretty intense relationship, but she didn't want to be part of the chaos that was the band. Right. So her name was Dixie, and so that's why you get the line, "My Dixie Dear." And so the song is about how she didn't want that life, and he's sad about it.
I can't. I have to. Anytime I hear somebody, I don't want your life. All I can hear is Varsity Blues in my head. Now the next one you have is in fact not by the Badfingers. It's by the Ivies.
Yes.
Ish.
So Badfinger was called the Ivies before their name got changed to Badfinger. And they actually got the name Badfinger because the writing title for With a Little Help from My Friends by the Beatles was called the Badfinger Boogie. And so they're like, well, how about the Badfinger? And so that it landed. But yeah,
a stunning recreation of our friends overseas.
Don't make fun of me.
Right.
So this song is called Maybe Tomorrow. And it was basically just released as a single. It kind of had a weird nebulous spot.
Well, that was at that time a lot. Like Pink Floyd, their first LP came out that year, or in '67 rather, and they had like at least 5 singles before they ever put out a record.
Yeah. The problem with this is when the trouble with Apple started, is that it got put out on like 2 different albums under 2 different names for like 2 weirdly different.
It's almost as if someone didn't know what was going on at Apple.
Yeah, it was a hot mess. But if you're here on YouTube, which you are, there's a great version of Badfinger as the Ivies doing Maybe Tomorrow. It's just one of those live kind of video TV show performances. Their faces are all so happy, and they look like they're taking so much joy in what they're doing. And the song, the chorus is "Maybe Tomorrow I Will Love Again." This is a hopeful song. This is a song that's
I was gonna say it's like when you look at the rest of the future lyrics, you're like, no, you won't.
It's like, you guys.
Yeah, no, you won't.
Oh, but this song is so great. It's very Mersey beat, like late Mersey beat kind of sound. I would call it like Baroque pop. Okay. I just think it's fabulous.
Right on. Excuse me. You've already picked 4 for us. You have a 5th one, and this is actually the latest of everything, because everything you've shared so far has been from 69, 70, and 71, and this is from 1973.
Yeah. So this is from the album Ass, which is Badfinger's last album on the Apple label, which it's called Apple of My Eye. And lyrically, this song is about Pete Ham and his trepidation leaving Apple. Because, like, even though it was a whole lot of poop, that was his home. It was what he was comfortable with, and all this and the other.
Like, when you take the Beatles connection out of Apple, there's still a lot that should have worked there.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, that's a whole different.
It's a whole different thing. So this song, I love it too because this was the last track from the Badfinger proper that charted. The album art for this ass is a donkey chasing a giant carrot in the sky, because this song is about Pete Ham being scared to go to Warner Brothers Records, which he should have been.
Right. Yeah.
But this song is very much like smiling through the tears, because the musically, like, you could put this on at a party and nobody would have a problem with it. Lyrically, you put this on at a party and somebody's going to have a problem with it, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of...
This is a woman speaking from experience where I'm the guy at parties where I go, have you ever listened to the lyrics of this? And then it ends up with people being like, oh, no. I guess I'm going to go now.
Yeah.
Like,
and so I love this. And when I was putting this list together for you, I was very torn between Maybe Tomorrow and Apple of My Eye, but I feel like they really bookend the classic Badfinger lineup in their career, and I think it's important, if you're going to start with this band, to have that perspective, that framework of those two songs. And so I cut Without You so I could have both of these songs.
Which is fine.
It felt blasphemous to me,
when
but
we started off, we talked about, like, I'm sure there's a billion people out there who are passionate about Badfinger in their own way. And they might be like, it's not even close to the first 5 songs I would tell someone to listen to.
Please talk to me about it.
That's the thing. I want people to leave a comment. Or if you're like, wow, you nailed it, that's the first 5 I would do, let us know. And if you have different videos like you would like us to do, like we have other series on the channel, like I'm sure we're going to go back and do a Hidden Gems for Badfinger. And we also have a series that we call What's So Great About, that I would love for you to dig in and do about Badfinger, because if you would have if I hadn't met you, if I hadn't, if Breaking Bad hadn't used that, for me, this band in many ways could have ended up being the No Matter What guys. And there's so much more to them.
So much more.
Right. So, if you would please drop a like on the video, that does help us out. Like, dislike, doesn't matter. Either way, it helps the algorithm if there's interaction on the video. But when we ask for comments, it's not to bump this in the algorithm. It's because we want to have a discussion with you about music. So if you would please, if you're on this video and you're interested in Badfinger, please drop a comment and let us know what you think. If you would please hit the notification bell, because that will let you know when any one of our 3 videos comes out every week. And as we always say, thank you so much for watching.